Hey good noodles, Noodle Rama here. Today I want to dive into some serious speculation. We are going to go off the rails and talk about the options for the next Dead by Daylight chapter. I'm talking way off the rails, into the ether. Let's go. Hey guys, if you don't know me, I like to stream Dead by Daylight and other games on Twitch. So if you want to go throw me a follow, it'll be a blast. We'd love to see you there. Okay, just to be clear, I want to start with a little disclaimer. These are all speculation, and I don't claim to have any special knowledge as to what the next Dead by Daylight chapter is going to be. These are all just crazy ideas I thought of, and I wanted to share with all of you. And I thought that they would be interesting to discuss. Now, the reason I'm going over licensed killers only is because there's this website called Leaks by Daylight. They say that through some code digging, they found that the next chapter, the killer will only be able to be purchased through Auric cells. Now, if that's the case, then it's definitely going to be a licensed killer. Otherwise, you would be able to buy it with shards as well. Now, is this true? Is this factual? I don't know, you're gonna have to take it up with them, but that's what I'm going to be basing my ideas here today on. So, we've all heard about Candyman and Resident Evil and even Five Nights at Freddy, right? Get out of here with those. We're gonna go deep. I want to talk about weird, strange, super far out there options that maybe people haven't thought about yet. But options that would still be pretty viable in the game of Dead by Daylight. Before Pyramid Head, all of the licensed characters were from old slasher flicks, right? So with the new Silent Hill chapter, we had seen something completely new from Dead by Daylight, which was bringing in another video game horror character, something completely new. Now, during the last chapter release, Behavior did a customer satisfaction survey. They asked where we would like to see more licensed chapters come from. It included video games, real life, manga/anime, and comics and books. Today, I really want to focus on two options, anime and books. These are both options we have not seen Behavior take from yet to make new chapters. For today, I've come up with one option from each of those categories that I think would fit really well into Dead by Daylight. So let's get into it. First up, anime. Horror is a big theme in anime, so there's a lot to choose from here. So, out of all the spoopy anime out there, what fits best with Dead by Daylight? I'm gonna go with Parasite. Parasite is a horror anime that centers around Shinichi Izumi, a high school student who comes into contact with an otherworldly wormy parasite who manages to infect his right hand. Other parasites begin popping up all over the world at the same time. Successful parasites eat the brains of their hosts and take over completely. The parasites have a set directive to consume and take over the entire human race. Parasite is based on the manga written back in 1988 by Hitoshi Iwaki. Now, why does this fit so well with Dead by Daylight? Well, we have a great killer in any of the main parasite monsters we've come across in the anime. DBD has some body horror, a little bit, but not that much, so this would really fit that niche. I mean, these things are terrifying. You don't want to see something like that in real life, come on. Parasites also have the ability to shapeshift. I know a lot of people out there have really been wanting to see a killer with shapeshifty, changeling type powers where you can shift into survivors to trick survivors into thinking you're one of them. Imagine seeing a Claudette run up to you, think she's gonna help you with the gin, and then BAM! She's slicing you up! Of course, our survivor would be Shinichi. I think there'd be some really interesting perks to go along with his weird parasite hand. Next up, books. Horror has been a staple in the world of literature since ancient Greece. From Mary Shelley to Stephen King, to all the little dime store paperbacks in between. Horror in books is rampant and gives us a lot of options to sift through. So what am I going to pitch today? I want to go into that deep psychological horror, H.P. Lovecraft. In Lovecraft lore, Cthulhu is one of the elder gods and a water elemental. Cthulhu has permeated all of pop culture and has shown up in other movies, video games, comics, and even cartoons. Now, with Cthulhu being a terrible and ancient god, he's definitely on a higher level than some of the other killers we've had already. But I do believe we'd be able to scale his powers back while still keeping him terrifying and interesting, and maintaining a sense of balance that the game has currently balanced. I feel like Lovecraft would really fit into the world of Dead by Daylight, seeing as the entity is basically a Lovecraftian monster anyway, an otherworldly beast that feeds on hope and fear and sanity. Cultists are a big part of Lovecraft's world, and the archives have already given us some lore stating that the entity has its own cult as well. As for the survivor, we would need to narrow down the actual story and the actual book that we are getting the license from. I'd love to see them pick up the license from the book Lovecraft Country. The story takes place in the 50s and it follows 22-year-old Atticus Turner, who goes looking for his missing father. Accompanied by his uncle George and childhood friend Letitia, they encounter both the horrors of racism and Lovecraftian monsters. This has been picked up to be an HBO series, by the way. I would love to see Atticus as a survivor, and with the hype of the new series coming out, I think it would be a great license for Behavior to get a hold of. What do you think of these two possibilities? I hope these licenses are something a little bit new and not something you've heard a million times. Do you guys have any other good anime or book suggestions? Actually, please let me know if you have any comic ones as well. I really wanted to delve into horror comics too, to see if I could find a good option for it, but I'm not very well versed in horror comics myself, so I couldn't really find something that I could really grasp a hold of very easily. If you have any good ideas for a good horror comic license, please let me know in the comments below, or join my Discord and we can discuss it there too. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. It'll help me out a lot, and you'll get notified every time I post a new video. Until next time, guys, we'll see you in the fog. Bye!